Hey, what's going on, guys? Today I am here to discuss a video about why Arkham Origins sucks, apparently. This video is pretty bad. He makes a few good points here and there, which we'll get into, but for the most part, it's pretty rough, to say the least. And he spends the first 10 minutes of the video not talking about the subject of the video. So, yeah, that'll be fun. Anyway, let's get into it.
So, I'm gonna be doing something a little different for the holidays this year.
Wait a minute, isn't it March?
I'm doing a review. You know, that thing I said I wouldn't do, but you know what? I'm finally feeling up to it. What do we got today? Oh. The Batman! Arcs of Ham! The Arkham franchise is a series of all-around decent cape shit games. Revolutionary when they first came out, but when you look at the series nowadays, some of it is aged like milk.
I can agree with that. Not everything in the Arkham games is perfect after all. There are definitely things that didn't age as well as they probably could have. But we'll see in this video that the points he makes about the Arkham games, Arkham Origins and I guess Asylum, because he's going to be getting into that, specifically aren't great.
Arkham Asylum is a good example. When the 2009 title first came out, yeah, I bet you we did consider it groundbreaking, for the time. But let's revisit this for a bit. If you played Asylum now, especially after having played later entries in the series, you might notice some paint has peeled off and some splotches of mold are growing on the wall.
How is Arkham Asylum sequels expanding upon and improving upon what Arkham Asylum introduced a problem with Batman Arkham Asylum? They're doing a sequel's job. This is not an issue.
Nothing too serious yet, but you should probably call somebody anyway. After going through the game for more than maybe 3 or 4 hours at a time, things will start to drag. One of the first things you'll spot is, oh god, what's wrong with your face? Some of the character models will have sunken in bug eyes or other exaggerated uncanny facial features. This may have been a stylistic choice, but I'm kind of glad they phased it out in later entries. But I'm not here to bitch about the looks. How does everything else hold up? Hand-to-hand combat, while enjoyable at first, doesn't have a lot of variety and kinda solidifies the press 2 buttons to win meme that the franchise is known for.
Your point about the faces in Arkham Asylum is valid. Some of them definitely have not aged very well. It's just due to the game being old, but you know. As for the combat, well, yeah, it's not as advanced as it is in other entries. It's also the first entry. You can't expect the combat to be as good as like Arkham Knights, like right away. No, that's not how it works. But press 2 buttons to win simulator, you can't beat Arkham Asylum just by spamming attack or counter. Like, good luck trying to get past the enemies with stun sticks without jumping over them, so you can leave them open to getting attacked. Or the knife enemies, which you have to cape stun.
Sure, you can use a couple different tactics like tossing batarangs and doing a couple special moves while you're racking up combos, but why should you bother doing that when you can just deck a bitch or break one of his legs?
Because that's not the most efficient way to take out enemies in this game.
You could say that the incentive is the Xbox gold you get from achievements, but that's not nearly enough to give me a sense of accomplishment for doing them.
The sense of accomplishment comes from taking out enemies as fast as possible. It makes you feel like Batman. You're taking them out as efficiently as possible like Batman would. And I didn't want to bring this up, but I have to now because this part of the video is just really bad. What did you use to record this gameplay on, bro? It's so bad.
Then there's Predator encounters, which inspire just about as much imagination. String up some goons from gargoyles, wait for the choking animation to finish before you get shot, drop on this dude from a skylight, kick him, punch him on the ground. There isn't a lot here. Although you get this really stupid upgrade to your Batclaw called the Ultra Batclaw, you can pull down weak walls with it and also do this. Wait, I think I just killed those guys. Maybe this isn't so boring after all.
This is something he brings up a decent amount, and I just want to say, like, using the Ultra Batclaw to pull them down off a ledge is entirely within the player's control, not an objective flaw with the game, especially if otherwise it would impede gameplay. Not to mention, if you look at them with with detective mode, it'll tell you they're unconscious, not dead. It doesn't matter what you think. The game is telling you what they are canonically. They're not dead. They're unconscious.
Yeah, for a game that goes off about Batman's no-kill rule, you can do a lot of just straight-up cold-blooded murder. Regardless of what your blue vision tells you, yeah, these dudes are dead.
The game is telling you that they aren't dead. They aren't dead. It's never confirmed that Batman kills anyone in Arkham Asylum or in any other game in this. So, no, they aren't dead. Your headcanon doesn't mean anything. It's not a criticism of the game.
I just threw this guy off a ledge in an abandoned catacomb. He's not getting back up from that.
Throwing a guy off a ledge is entirely within the player's control, not a flaw with the game, and the game tells you that the guy isn't dead if you looked on your detective vision. The only time where your criticism of Batman killing supposedly holds any value is during the part where the guy's like dangled up, whatever, like above the Joker toxin, and you use a battering to cut the rope he's tied to down, so he falls on top of a weak roof and falls into the Joker toxin, and then the game says that he's not dead, because that's the game breaking its own eternal logic. The Joker gas is stated to be lethal, yet it doesn't kill that guy. That's the only instance where your criticism holds any weight. Any other time you mention it, it does not.
Oftentimes you'll hear loud cracks and snaps when you smack goons upside the head, but nah, they're just sleeping. Man, these shurikens look pretty sharp. Here's a section of the game called Extreme Incarceration. It has an electrified floor. Oh, why is this here? All these people are dead!
Prove the electrified gates use enough voltage to kill people. Prove the electrified floor uses enough voltage to kill people. As to why the electrified floor is there, this is the part of the asylum where they hold the most insane and dangerous inmates, aka the lunatics. It makes sense that they have precautions in place to keep them from stepping out of line. And the fact that this is an asylum where they are trying to rehabilitate people makes it even less likely that these things are using lethal amounts of voltage, since the end goal of the asylum is to cure its inmates and rehabilitate them, not kill them.
If I took this game seriously, I would be upset. Too bad I think it's really funny. Speaking of things that don't feel right, the writing in this game is a bit rough, to say the least. For example, there's a part of the game where you have to track down a bioweapon formula and destroy it so Joker can't replicate it. So we follow this trail of fingerprints a doctor so kindly left behind for us. Damn, bitch, you really gotta touch everything? Anyways, we end up at the library where we see that you left it out in the open. You left a dangerous blueprint out as a bookmark for anyone to find.
Why would Joker's men be checking random books in the library? Joker has no idea where she hid the notes, which is why he's having Zsasz interrogate her with torture. He doesn't know where they are. Why would he have his henchmen go search random books in the library if he doesn't even know if that's where she hid it?
You know what? Give me back your goddamn doctorate. You're clearly too stupid to have it. Well, at least you can't practice medicine anymore. Going back to the lack of variety in this game, and as a general overview before we move on, let's talk about the boss fights in Asylum. Or rather, as I call them, villain events. Because I can't really call a lot of these moments in the game boss fights. First, you get introduced to stealth mechanics through a hostage situation with Victor Zsasz. You swing behind him to the other end of the room, drop kick him, done.
Zsasz, by definition, isn't a boss fight. Boss fights are meant to test you on a skill you acquired throughout the game. This isn't a test of your stealth ability because you haven't been introduced to it yet until now. Zsasz is used to introduce you to the stealth mechanics of the game, not test you on them.
We get a call from the Riddler. The less we talk about the annoying Riddler content, the better off we'll be for it.
I'm sorry, but how exactly is Riddler a boss fight? He's more of a side quest, if anything, not really a boss.
He's not nearly as annoying in this game as he is further down the line, but let's not dwell on it for now. We'll get there when we get there. Then you tussle with a giant Coomer in a fight that honestly takes a lot longer than I remember. Jeez, come on, just fucking die already. There we go. We soon have our first encounter with Scarecrow. Sneak around, avoid his line of sight, and shine a bat signal on to make him go away. Repeat 2 more times.
That Titan section is used to introduce the player to the concept of Titans, because they're going to be facing them a lot in the game. And can you explain why the Scarecrow stuff is bad? Like, you're seemingly making it out to be. Also, you left out stuff about how what's introduced in the other 2 times you do it. So,
I really like the build-up and atmosphere with these segments. It's one of the best highlights of the game for me. But mechanic-wise, this kinda sucks. It feels way too simplified to really put me on the edge of my seat.
Care to explain why? No? Okay.
We have another stealth encounter where you clear the room, then jump Harley to save Commissioner Gordon. Then we get to Bane, and this is where a pattern starts to emerge. This is pretty much every legitimate boss fight in the game. Coomer Bane, Normal Bane, Minion Bane, 2 Banes, Skeleton Bane! Too many Banes! After a third and final encounter with Scarecrow, we chase him into the sewers where he then proceeds to get nabbed by Croc, presumably never to be seen or heard from again. Speaking of which, Killer Croc. All we do here is crawl around his lair collecting magic shrooms. Oh, there he is. Let's just, yeah, there we go.
I do agree that I think the Titan boss fights in the game are pretty repetitive, but it is pretty fun to smack around Titans with, another Titan. But yeah, they definitely could have been done more to differentiate them. As for the Killer Croc thing, you're painting it in a disingenuous light. The reason why people like that section is because of how tense it is. Croc can pop out at any time, so it keeps you on your toes. You can never be too comfortable in his lair. And your thing about just throwing the batarang at him, well, yeah, true, he goes back into the water after one batarang. He also doesn't just appear right in front of you all the time. After the first couple of times he appears, he starts appearing out of the player's view, so it keeps the player on their toes, because he can come from anywhere. That's the entire point. You have no idea when Croc's going to appear, and it keeps the player engaged.
Oh yeah, we encountered Zaz again a while ago. Went about as well as you might expect. However, if you somehow fail, Joker roasts your ass, so that's a fun touch. Ah, boss fight that's actually different. And it's over. Cool.
Once again, Zaz isn't a boss fight. He's introducing the hostage mechanic. And as for Poison Ivy, you didn't even go into detail at all about her. You said it's a quick boss, which isn't inherently a flaw, nor do you explain why it's a problem. You don't really expand, you don't explain your points very well.
And finally, after 9 hours of gameplay, undercooked textures, and some dumbass PC bugs, we made it. The cream of the crop. The final battle. Here we go. What could it be? Joker Bane. You made Joker Bane with a mohawk.
I'm not a big fan of Titan Joker either, but can you explain why it's inherently a bad thing that he becomes a Titan?
He swipes at you a couple times, jumps up to the ledge, we fight his goons, he turns his back, we pull on his wiener and sock him in the jaw. Do that 2 more times and roll credits. Well, that was kinda lame. I'd honestly give this game a 7. It's alright, but no.
Okay, you describe the Titan Joker boss fight. You described what you have to do in that boss fight. Explain why it's bad. And yeah, I'm cutting him off right here and just skipping straight to the origin stuff, because the next section of this video is essentially just him gushing about Arkham City. And while I agree the game is amazing, we're here for Arkham Origins, not all the other Arkham games. Like, seriously, the first 10 minutes of his video is literally just him yapping about Arkham Asylum and City.
If I could talk more at length about this title, I would, but that's not what I have brought you here for. You're not here to watch me enjoy myself. I'm here to suffer, and you are here to laugh at my pain.
Well, when you title a video that Arkham Origins still sucks, yeah, people, when they click on it, are expecting to hear about why you think Arkham Origins still sucks, not your thoughts on Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. The reason why I skipped over your city portion of the video is because I had nothing to respond to, unlike Arkham Asylum.
Batman Fartham Origins. It's a prequel this time because after killing off our big baddie, where else are we gonna go?
I mean, we have an idea for a sequel, we kinda need to plan it out a bit more.
Nah, fuck that, we need something about Holiday 2013.
But we're still in pre-production.
Will it have Joker in it?
No, we kinda killed him off since Hamill retired the role.
Yeah, we can't sell a Batman game without Joker in it.
I'm sure we can think of something.
Yeah, no, we'll just do this one without you guys. Make it a prequel and outsource everything to our new Montreal office.
What?
Your development team is suspended until you learn your lesson. Go sit in the corner. Yep, we now have an Arkham game without Rocksteady.
Explain why it's a bad thing that the game is a prequel. Explain why it's a bad thing that the game isn't made by Rocksteady. You aren't making any really valid arguments here because you're not substantiating any of your points.
Oh boy. First thing you'll notice before we even started the game is an incredibly bland font choice. I mean, wow. Second is Warner Brothers trying to push you to sign into a WBID account, because I'm just dying to play a multiplayer mode you shut down a mere 3 years after release. Made by the same team that brought me such hits as Brink. Oh, I sure am missing out there. So why am I reviewing this as a holiday special, you might be asking? It's a Crimbus game. What a joyous holiday it is for me. A Jewish cat. The game starts by showing us some of the most abysmal cinematography I've witnessed in a cutscene for a AAA game. Are we sure this is the same series?
Can you explain why you think the cinematography is abysmal? No? Okay then.
I'm with Bruce. You've been back for almost 2 years now. You can't expect me to believe that Gotham's most eligible bachelor is spending another Christmas alone.
You just ran out of time.
Wait, that's not Kevin Conroy. Who's voicing Batman here? Oh, God, no, why? You picked literally the worst Sonic VA trying to do his best edgy Shadow impression. Marvelous.
Even if I agreed with you that Roger's Batman voice is just him doing an edgy Shadow impression, can you explain why it's bad? Can you explain why him doing that negatively impacts his performance as Batman? Can you explain any of your points?
I will be playing this on PC because if you were to buy it now, chances are it would be on Steam. Also, teehee, funny bugs. But let me talk about the PS3 version, since that was what I played back when I first bought this game. For those who require a refresher on DualShock 3, PS3 ports of first and third person shooters needed to have slightly different controls than the 360 version. Xbox controllers are rather convenient when it comes to shooters, since the backmost buttons are proper triggers. They feel nice when you press them and squeeze them. If you try to use L2 and R2 for aiming and gunning on the DualShock, your greasy Cheeto fingers will slide off easily. So the solution for PS3 games is to instead configure these inputs to L1, R1 respectively. What's the point of this whole tangent? When you start the game up on PS3, the batarang and aiming controls are mapped as if the game were being played on 360 instead. This cannot be changed on console. You have to live with it. This is our first sign the game is going to be a significant step down from previous outings.
I never played the PS3 version of Batman Arkham Origins, so sure, I'll take your word for it.
Enter Blackgate Prison and we open with an obnoxious QTE. The quick-time events didn't feel nearly as intrusive in Asylum and City. When you're removing grates or pulling down walls, you feel kind of numb to it. But here, have fun getting the press Y button flashed to you while you're in the middle of a cutscene, or you're trying to...
The counter QuickTime events are used pretty much the exact same way they were used in Arkham City with the exception of the Deathstroke boss fight. If it's a problem here, is it also a problem in City because you didn't mention it during your section on City? Unless, of course, you just have double standards. Like, it's used in Arkham City at the very beginning of the game with the Tiger Guard, then the Penguin, then the Doctor, and there's probably a few more times I can't remember right now. It's used the exact same way here. If it's not a problem in City, why is it a problem here?
enjoy a cool fight. More on that later. The combat animations look absolutely ridiculous in this game. You got this wimpy-ass punch, this silly cartwheel attack. On ground takedowns, you'll sometimes do the limp-dick punch again. And don't get me started with dialogue. In addition to the writing just being generally underwhelming, occasionally when a model needs to say a line, it will unnaturally jerk its head as it restarts the idle animation, even during some in-engine cutscenes. Really takes you out of the experience.
Can you explain why the writing in this game is underwhelming? And yeah, the problem with the head thing, twitching like into certain positions, yeah, that's an actual problem, so fair point there. But can you explain why the writing's underwhelming?
This guy thinks he's safe behind those bars. I'm gonna let him keep his false sense of security.
Me too.
Shut up. Origins massacred my boy.
I think I'm gonna like this busted-ass piece of crap. And now...
To answer your friend's question about whether or not Batman killed that guy, no, not according to Detective Vision.
Leave a arrived at the first boss, Killer Croc. Good God, what have they done with this design? How did you make this worse than Arkham Asylum? These two games are supposed to be in the same canon, right?
Care to explain why Croc's design in Arkham Origins is a bad thing, and if it really is just that he looks different than Arkham Asylum and City, I hate to break it to you, but it's kind of a thing in the Arkham games that Croc's condition is getting worse as time goes on. It's why he looks more monstrous in Arkham Knight than he does in Arkham City and Arkham Asylum. So yeah, try to explain your point better.
Anyways, he charges at us and all we gotta do is dodge out of the way. Cape stun him, beat his ass, and threw a batarang at the gas tank he's holding over his head and refusing to toss our way for some reason. And then on my end, issues started cropping up. First, the audio briefly cut out, so I had to pause to make sure that something wasn't wrong. Then, for the rest of the fight, Croc is now fading in and out of existence because he is not real and has never been real. Wake up!
Oh, Jesus!
The glitches, yeah, there's a lot of them in Arkham Origins, so this is a fair point. As much as I love the game, it definitely is a little rough around the edges.
Oh, apparently that was the first time in canon Batman's ever faced Croc, and yet he knew how to deal with him immediately.
What's the issue with how Batman dealt with Croc here? He just used what he already had at his disposal. It's not like he came into the fight not having faced Croc before and somehow had a gadget specifically designed to take down Croc or a specific move designed to fight against him. What you're describing here is literally just Batman using what he already had in his tool set at the time in environmental factors. How is that a bad thing?
Cool! The game is prompting us to invest our skill points, so we might as well get something neat. Ignoring the bland slapshit menu UI, let's see what we got. Oh, so I have to get these armor upgrades in order to get all the interesting combat abilities. Asylum and City gave us some freedom in that regard. I could choose to play the game with no armor upgrades, or keep a couple gadget upgrades out of the equation. You know, let me take a handicap challenge. You want to make Origins fun without upgrading your armor? Why would you want to do such a thing?
This is a valid point. Arkham Origins' upgrade system is way too linear compared to the other Arkham games.
So we get a briefing on the game. There are 7 assassins after us. That means we get to fight quite a few bosses. Oh, this is looking to be alright. We're introduced to a new fast travel system, which I guess makes sense since now we have in-game access to the Wayne Manor Batcave, so whatever. But uh-oh! Turns out the nav points aren't working so good as we have a little stinker jamming the signals. We go down to investigate and oh, it's you. Big Eddie Nigma's back, but now he's a lot more of a nuisance to the game, as he makes us solve puzzles to unlock fast travel points around the map. Let me explain why that's an issue. See, now that the new devs have given us a map that's twice as big as the previous games, things feel a lot more hollow. Don't get me wrong, there's still plenty of mobs to beat on and side quests scattered around the city. We just have to move twice as much to get to mission objectives. Now, at first, you might think this isn't a problem. Exploring the nooks and crannies of Arkham City was part of the fun. Here's the thing about good old Batman AC. The map was as big as it needed to be. If I chose to do so, I have the option to clear Arkham City's world from one end to the other in less than 5 minutes and have fun launching myself over every rooftop while doing it. In Origins, everything feels a lot slower, even with the grapnel boost, which we should not canonically have in our possession!
I think I need the grapnel boost.
But Mr. Fox told you it's not yet ready for field deployment. It's still in the prototype stage.
Prototype my ass, Alfred! Oh, sorry, we're calling it the grapnel accelerator, so it's fine. It's fine, everything's fine!
I agree that traversal in Arkham Origins does feel a little bit slower than in Arkham City, but the game hands us an in-game solution to this. If you don't like the traversal, you can fast travel to make the trip easier. So it's not that big of a deal. It's still a valid criticism, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal, if I'm being perfectly honest. As for the grapnel accelerator thing, yeah, it's continuity breaking, but I like how the devs went for more focus on gameplay than continuity. Is it an issue? Sure, but if it means the gameplay experience was better for it, then I can live with it.
In Arkham City, we could tower over pretty much every building rendered in the overworld, with the exception of the obvious walls sectioning the prison off from the civilian population. Origins has structures you simply aren't allowed to vault over because... well, because fuck you. The game has somehow managed to make one of the simplest, magnificent parts of City as dull as dishwater. In order to get over this tedium, we'll need to activate fast travel routes, the first of which needs to be activated before you can progress through the campaign. Fuck you, Edward, die in a fire. Oh yeah, let's stay on this part for a little bit longer, because here is where more blemishes become noticeable. This is our first Predator section. We drop a smoke bomb, zip up to the vantage point, swing over to the back of the room. Well, why can't I swing to the other vantage points? I don't need to turn on detective mode, I can clearly see them. Their presence is jabbing my goddamn pupils. Let me swing over there! Oh, you've gotta be kidding me. I have to turn on detective vision to will the vantage points into existence, otherwise the game considers these as non-interactable objects. Phenomenal game design, guys! Now, when Arkham Asylum does this, it's a bit more excusable because it is the first game in the series, it is telling you how everything works, but here, we're at the third game. There is no excuse.
Yeah, the game's gonna teach you how to use detective mode in the stealth tutorial. You are criticizing the game for teaching potentially new players on how to use the stealth mechanics. Are you serious? And the in-universe reason why you have to is because there are other thugs in there besides the one you see that are also holding hostages, and Batman wants to know their positions. So this isn't a criticism.
Oh, what's that? You want me to initiate this takedown animation? Fuck you, I'm not complying. I can find the grapple point on my own. Stop treating me like I'm 5. The game now gives us an introduction to a new feature in detective mode, holographic reenactments of crime scenes. Okay. This is all nice and gimmicky, but is there a logical explanation as to why Batman doesn't have this in previous games? No? That's what I thought.
Can you give me an example of when Batman needed to recreate a crime scene in Batman Arkham Asylum or City? No? That's what I thought.
Man, you guys kind of suck at this whole prequel thing, huh? I can see the card that I need to scan right there. Let me kick this fucking grate open! We're now out and about in the world, and we need to find the Penguin so he can tell us where Black Mask is. Let's interrogate this friendly little arms dealer. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Considering that we see that guy later on in the game, yeah, he is fine.
The midget to a rundown ship at the docks where we push past more goons. By the way, the smoke bomb is way too overpowered, because I can just do this. And get off scot-free.
You know what game the smoke bomb also allowed you to do something like that in? Batman Arkham City. But you didn't mention it as a problem with that game, so what's the problem here?
We trek through the cabins of the ship until we encounter the second assassin, Electrocutioner. Well, this should be a fun time. Maybe since he has electric gauntlets, we'll have to dodge around his attack pattern, and it's over. Shit. That's kind of a letdown. I mean, the dude had a full health bar and everything. As we continue pummeling lowlifes, we're introduced to a new enemy type. So now I get to talk about all of them. First, you got your big boys, which are a mix between the mini-Banes from the first and second game, and the Kami twins. They can charge at you, grab you in an attempt to disrupt your combo, and hit you with unblockable attacks. All you really gotta do is keep punching them and you're good. These aren't to be confused with Venom thugs, which use the trademark Bane Juice. These are a bit more lame since you just pull their plug and then treat them like a normal enemy afterwards. You have to use the same takedown method with the big boys if they have armor plating. My favorite new enemy type, however, has to be the ninjas. No, not the ones from Arkham City. These guys. These charming little fellows mix up the playing field quite a bit by being sneaky little devils. They can use combinations, throw attacks that need to be double countered, and even counter your own strikes. The new enemy types are one of the few things I actually like about this game. I'll give credit where it's due. Anyways,
The reason why the Electrocutioner gets taken out in one hit is because he's supposed to be a joke. He's in the same vein as Rick the Door Technician from Jedi Survivor. He's not a serious boss fight, and because he's not the boss of this section of the game. It's just there for the player to have a good laugh. That's about it. And you say you give credit where credit is due, yet all you've done so far is give bad criticisms about the game and haven't elaborated on any of them. You are painting the game in a disingenuous light.
Choke the chicken and he tells us where Black Mask's safe house is. But before we get any other info, we get snagged by a familiar face. It's Deathstroke. Man, I remember this fight being the shit back when I was a kid. Oh, of course. Nostalgia, my sworn enemy, you have struck yet again. Deathstroke's fight would honestly be a lot more fun if the devs let me trust the counter mechanic and didn't hold my hand with their shitty tutorial. Boiling the fight down to a science, it's kind of bland. It's mostly just hitting and countering but with QTEs. The worst part is it's the most entertaining fight in the game. How could it get worse, I hear you ask. We'll get there.
So, the Deathstroke boss fight is bad because there are button prompts on the screen? I think you need to do a better job of explaining why that's a bad thing.
Don't you worry. Thankfully, we get a nice souvenir, the remote claw. This is essentially our stand-in for the line launcher, but hear me out. Have you ever played Asylum in City and wondered, I want to string this guy up, but I don't want to wait in one place to do it? No? Well, too bad. I can also do this. And the game will try to convince me I didn't just kill a man.
So it's a useful tool in stealth. That's a problem. Why? And as for the thing with the propane tank, in Arkham City, you can literally explode a propane tank while a thug is holding it. Yet you didn't bring that up in Arkham City either. You conveniently left that out.
Time to pay Black Mask a visit. Before we do that, we have to wrangle our local ANCOM ringleader. Okay, so when new side missions pop up during the campaign, I'm gonna divert attention to those, just to get them out of the way. Or at least the ones I feel like finishing. We get to disarm 3 bombs. Sorry, that's not the politically correct term. Mostly peaceful explosive devices scattered around the city before we have our meeting with the notorious hacker 4chan himself. After he busts his little manlet ass, he gives us an unwarranted lecture.
Like Roman Sionis or Oswald Cobblepot are responsible. They're just a reflection of our apathy.
Cool.
The message is always the same. Don't think, don't question.
You can stop now.
Fidelity. Once upon a time, that's what defines society.
Please stop talking.
Worship at the altar of competition. We build fortresses around ourselves. We fight, we betray.
Good God, it's like what would happen if a lefty meme were a person. Shut up! Shut up! So after that, we head to the penthouse and do another hologram-assisted investigation that once again looks way too elaborate to be plausible. Jesus Christ.
Can you explain why it's too elaborate? No? Alright.
This is a tiny-ass phone. Upon further discovery, we find out that it wasn't Black Mask who put the hit out on us after all, and we come across one name. The Joker. If we find Blackface, we find the Jokeman. In order to do that, we need to access the criminal database of the GCPD. Alright, we're at the station. Let's use this new non-lethal option Alfred recommended us. So that was a waste of time. One Antifa wet dream later, we get to the server room before we have an incredibly forced encounter with a young Barbara Gordon. Because it's a prequel written by hacks. We want to cram in as many references into this small Cornish hen as we can since we didn't buy the turkey Mom asked me to get, and I really don't feel like going on another 10-minute drive to Kroger! After finding out we're...
Care to explain why Barbara's introduction into the story is a bad thing, considering it's meant to set up, you know, her and Bruce's partnership later on when she plays the role as Oracle? No? Okay.
Joker is, we start on our merry way, but before we get very far, we encounter a side mission with Mad Hatter. I'm just gonna get this one out of the way real quick. You know how the Scarecrow levels in the first game had a really nice haunted atmosphere? Well, let's take that, remove the immediate looming threat of a pursuer, and presto, you've made another disappointment. Good job. Time to head to the bank. Well, what do you know? We found our guys. It's finally time for the big reveal.
Oh, sweet, Joker. You're looking cool, by the way.
It's been you this whole time. You hired the assassins. You've been running Sionis' operation.
You know, framing this reveal as a shocking plot twist doesn't really work on a narrative standpoint if you've already told us what it was earlier. Anyways, Hot Topic
Bruce doesn't treat this as a big reveal. He's just confirming what he already knew. So, what's the issue?
Joker sucks, and as hard as Troy Baker tries, God bless his soul, he can't pull off Hamill. First off, can't do the laugh to save his life. Just can't. I've heard amateur YouTubers do a much better job. Second, and this isn't really entirely Troy's fault, he barely tells jokes. I mean, come on, it's the Joker.
What's wrong with Troy Baker's portrayal of the Joker other than it's different from Mark Hamill's? Care to explain? Also, you say that he doesn't really make jokes a lot. So, I have to ask, did you play the game? He makes jokes throughout the entire thing.
It's literally in his name. And the jokes that rarely surface are just terrible one-liners, which I can sometimes barely hear thanks to the game's awful sound mixing that boosts the music over everything else. If you're
Humor is subjective, and it sucks that I guess the audio mixing wasn't great for you. I haven't noticed it, but yeah, if you had that problem, yeah, that sucks.
concerned with how quickly I'm blowing through these criticisms, don't fret, I will probably get worse. We make our escape out of the bank and... You hear that? Is that a baby crying? Nope, it's just one of our assassins, Lady Shiva, giving us a series of tests to complete. Those tests being save this police officer, fight some ninjas, fail to save the other officer, then fight Shiva herself. And her posse of ninjas. Alright, I think here is a good place to talk about boss design. And how not to make a boss. First, if one of your boss's big strats is to send minions after you during the fight, you failed. The rest of the big man's fight could be absolutely phenomenal, but if you resort to this cheap trick, you've lost. Even City is guilty of this sometimes. While it doesn't happen nearly as often, it's still an issue.
Why is it lazy? You're not explaining why. You're just saying it's bad because you said so. That's pretty much what your point is.
2. Don't let bosses in your game feel the same. The big boss problem in Arkham Origins is that most of the big baddies feel like normal thugs, but with health bars. Yes, even the Copperhead battle where she poisons you and you have to fight through a bad trip in order to get the antidote. Even the Predator fight with Deadshot literally works on the first principle where his mob just acts as obstacles for your main goal. Once you kick his ass, it's over. Go home.
So you acknowledge that things like the Deadshot boss and the Copperhead boss aren't actually the same as regular combat and Predator encounters, and you're criticizing them anyway for being similar, for being too similar. Okay?
Your objective when making bosses is to avoid these two problems. And this has been tips from a cartoon cat who sort of knows what he's talking about. After we get the government lizard to squeal, we locate the remaining bad boys to a luxury hotel. And hey, it's our old boy Electrocutioner. He seems to be doing well. You know, what's the point of hyping this guy up as one of our would-be killers if you're just gonna write him off as a joke?
Congratulations, you just answered your own question. He is a joke. He isn't meant to be a serious threat. You have answered your own question.
Oh, it's for this new totally cool, not at all lame gadget. These are the shock gloves. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be nice about these things. For navigation and puzzles, they're used to charge up generators. In combat, they're fucking broken. In City and Origins, you can attain what's called Free Flow Focus, which gives you an attack buff, a speed boost, and gadgets with critical hits. Pretty powerful already. Anything additional would feel tacked on. So the gloves not only do double that damage, but also remove the necessity for cape stun and just hit through shields and armor. I'm only using it because I'm really, really tired of this bullshit.
I've been over this point before in other videos, so I'm just going to gloss over it here. But the shock gloves are completely optional to use in combat. Are they overpowered? Yes, but they're also optional. The only time you have to use them in combat is during Bane's second stage during his last boss fight of the game. So, well, yes, they're overpowered. You also don't have to use them.
Make it through jokes. Nah, this guy is too lame for me to call him that anymore. I'm just gonna call him Timmy or Jonker. Yeah, Jonker's good. We make it through Jonker's shenanigans until we arrive at the penthouse elevator. But before we can meet him, we get ambushed by the large man himself.
You have 1 minute.
Do they even have manners where he comes from?
Whoa! Cool with the racist comments, buddy. This is a family show. After Jonker blows up an abandoned building, Sonic the Bat-Hog starts beating on him in a fit of roid rage before Bane tosses his salad again, and we begin our first fight with him. Insert generic Origins boss fight pattern A as well as a pre-rendered QTE animation with now 0 player input. After that's over, Bane
Congratulations on not explaining why the boss fight is supposedly bad. Let's moving on.
launches a rocket at Jonker as he makes his escape. Jonker begins to plummet to his death, but Roger dives in to save him just before impact. And so the day is finally saved. Just kidding, I'm still stuck here, unfortunately. We now cut to Jonker going to therapy, where we get to play in his shoes for a bit. And in case you're wondering, no, he's not playable in challenge maps. Why would you ask such a silly question?
My name's Harleen. Harleen Quinzel.
Oh, come on, we're introducing Harley now? Sure, why should I expect anything subtle from the hacks that wrote the Assassin's Creed games? Where else am I gonna put all this stuffing?
Care to explain why it's a problem in Batman Arkham Origins for setting up Harley and Joker's dynamic in the later games? You're criticizing Batman Arkham Origins for setting up the beginning of stuff that becomes really important later down the line in the series.
Oh, and of course, right after that, we get another "my parents are dead" scene. We got it. You don't need to do this in every goddamn Arkham game, you know. We get the idea. In Asylum, it's excusable because it's the first game. In the second game, both references work really well with the story. Hugo Strange uses the notorious scene on Crime Alley to taunt Batman with the knowledge of his real identity. He's using it to gun under his skin. In the other big moment where the event is referenced, the Caped Crusader is mere inches away from death as he sees his mother and father welcoming him to the pearly gates. These are very beautiful scenes that have thematic purposes to their presence. Arkham Origins just recycles the scene from the first game and somehow makes it even less subtle just because he saw Jonker shoot his goons in cold blood.
You are unironically complaining about Batman's origins in a game called Batman Arkham Origins.
With a gun, no less! Oh, good heavens! Alfred wants us to call it for the night, but Roger's still got work to do, so we can't stop here. At least we're given another neat gadget for our arsenal. Wait. Oh, you guys aren't even trying anymore. This is just the freeze grenade from the last game. Alright, that tears it. I'm done playing around. This isn't a game. It's a stretched out, overpriced expansion pack. Sure, you might have a couple new toys here and there, but when you really pause to think about everything, it's just a worse version of Arkham City with a cheaper coat of paint. There's nothing really significant here that...
Yes, Batman Arkham Origins is just a copy of Batman Arkham City. The world map is different, the stories is different, the side quests are different, the boss fights are different outside of one part of Deathstroke boss. Let's see here. The tone is different. The character arc that Bruce goes through in this game is different. But yeah, definitely just a copy and paste of Arkham City.
Makes it stand out. It's a DLC map pack slapped onto a $60 disc. After Alfred calls out the furry's self-destructive behavior, we venture off to sneak into the GCPD once again so we can find info we can use to take down Bane. Once that's done and we have a lock on his tracker, we're on our merry way. Oh, we got some time to interrupt the drug war. Might as well. We resolve a few scuffles before we nail the Kingpin at a nightclub. His name is... Bird! We promptly wrecked his shit. Oh! So now I'm allowed to use the disarm and destroy ability that I could previously purchase in Arkham City. And at this late in the game. Fan-fucking-tastic! We find Bane's lair, but no Bane. Oh, what's this then? Oh! Well, it looks like we've been found out. Roger's first decision after coming upon this shocking revelation is to tell Alfred to hide in the cave, because someone clever enough to solve your secret identity is absolutely, positively, not smart enough to search your house for your secret headquarters.
Figuring out that Bruce Wayne is Batman doesn't automatically mean he can find the Batcave. Bruce isn't even saying that that's his solution. It's just to buy time until Bruce can get to Alfred. It's not like Bruce's solution is literally just wait him out in the Batcave until Bane eventually leaves because he can't find it.
Real 40 checkers thinking, buddy. Oh yes, what a big, smart, and strong boy you are. Yes, you are. And before we can prevent the butler from getting his teeth kicked in, we have to deal with... Oh no. We have to get here eventually. Firefly. We get up on the bridge so we can disable 3 of the bombs and power stomp hordes of enemy... Wait, why can't I use any of my gadgets here? And I just sock-lock myself. No one's attacking me, and none of my inputs are registering. Awesome. Restarting. And now it works. Nice. After we disable the bombs, we finally fight TF2 Pyro. Throw the glue grenade, toss a bunch of batarangs, and yank on his dick. It's incredibly tedious, and I wish it didn't last as long as it does.
This is an understandable criticism. The Firefly boss fight definitely isn't the most engaging thing in the world. It's mostly predicated on its spectacle more than anything, but yeah, it's not the most fun boss to fight.
At least with Clayface, you got to use the momentum of one of his attacks against him for extra damage. There's at least some strategy behind that fight. Much more fun. Alright, I'm almost done here. Oh god, you're kidding. I got locked again? While there were several bugs, glitches, and lots of jank I've encountered while playing Origins, nothing has really come close to game breaking. Until now. Guess I'll just die and start over again. Fuck! Okay, so it's only the halfway point, but I'm no less irritated. That should have been one and done. Alright, I did it. It's over. Why is he still doing his thing? His health is 0. Why are we still going? Oh great! More button prompts! Joy! After finally punching Garfield's lights out, yes, that really is his name, and delivering a lame one-liner,
You need a new hobby.
Roger Man hurries over to the cave to check in on his indentured servant. But unfortunately, we are too late. Even though we've heard his voice in the previous game, Alfred is surely, most definitely, dead as disco. I genuinely hate when prequels pull these fake-outs for characters that are fully alive and well later on in the canon. So what kind of assholes are we gonna use to bring Alfred back? No, you can't be serious. You're not doing this. It's too stupid.
You claim it's stupid, yet you don't explain as to why, so your point holds no weight.
This is not happening. Oh my god. We're actually going with this. You are this dedicated to making absolute asses of yourselves. So after we've... I can't believe I'm saying this. Used the shot gloves as defibrillators to bring Alfred back to life, we overhear that Jonker has already caused massive prison riots at Blackgate. We need to head over and stop him and Bane once and for all. We hear Jonker profess his gay love for us as we run through the halls, killing... anesthetizing the lower class as we do so. Hey, buddy, wake up. Wake up, buddy. Oh, he's just a heavy sleeper. We finally catch up with Jonker and he gives us a nice little trolley problem to solve. Bane has a heart monitor strapped to him. Each heartbeat charges the electric chair Jonker is strapped to. After enough time passes, Jonker will fry. So either he dies, or Bane does. How does Roger Man solve this problem? Well, you know how he does it. He uses the shock gloves to stop Bane's heart. Duh. Oh, and of course he used them as defibrillators again because one time just wasn't enough!
You're complaining about them being used as defibrillators again, yet you still haven't explained why it's stupid that they are being used that way. So, your point still does not stand.
Christ! But we're not done yet as Bane turns his juice up to 11 and transforms into Buff Riku. Oh, fuck. Give me a moment. He chases us and tosses us around like a fucking ragdoll. The takedown prompts are just now choosing to show up whenever they feel like it. So after fighting with the UI, we finish off the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and zoom over to the chapel to face the Jonker one last time. I'm just gonna slow these combat animations to show just how jank they are. These literally look like stills, you don't even care anymore.
The animations don't look good when you slow them down because they're not meant to be viewed at that speed. This isn't that hard to understand.
Coincidentally, neither do I. Thank God after this, the game is finally over, and I can at long last stop. I could talk about the endgame content or the rest of the side missions, but I don't feel like doing it. I could talk about the challenge maps or Cold Cold Heart, but I've been doing this long enough. This expansion sucks. 5 out of 10. I'd rather play just about anything else. That's not what I meant!
And I am glad that this video is over because I don't want to watch it anymore. But anyways, yeah guys, that'll be it for this video. I hope you guys have a great day, and remember, don't go sending this guy any hate. At the end of the day, we're talking about video games. It's really not that deep. But yeah, until next time, see you guys. Peace.